everybody! Today I'm in one of the best hotels in Sardinia, Italy, because I will have the chance to try the most powerful SUV that I've ever drove in my life. I'm talking about the brand new Aston Martin DBX 707. Okay, but what are we talking about? You probably heard about the Aston Martin DBX, the SUV made by Aston in 2020. Well, this is not a simple update, but it's a totally different car. It's called DBX 707, where 707 stands for horsepower. Made possible by a V8 B-turbo 4 liters with a maximum torque of 900 Newton meters. 9 gears automatic shifter, from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 3.3 seconds, maximum speed 310 kilometers an hour, 4-wheel drive. Now, the differences from the basic DBX are first of all in the engine, which now has 157 horsepower and 200 Newton meters more than the basic DBX. The engine is AMG, but with this configuration, AMG never used it. Aston Martin indeed modified it with different turbos and a different calibration. Now, looking at this picture that I took during the press conference, you can see the power and torque differences between the DBX and the DBX 707. And in order to sustain such a huge power, Aston Martin engineers has reviewed completely the gearbox, which now has a wet clutch. We have a new rear differential, which is now electronic limited slip reinforced, and as in every modern car, we have 5 different driving modes, which are GT, Sport, Sport Plus, and yeah, obviously you can use the launch control like this. We'll see later. And you also have the individual map and the terrain mode, which is meant for the off-road. We have a new frame for the suspensions, and we have new braking system, which are huge, considering that they are carbon ceramic now, and that they are mounted on 23 inches wheels. The weight balance also is great, because we have 52% in the front and 48% in the rear. So this is very different compared to the old DBX. And now we'll see it together, starting from the outside, then going to the inside, and then by driving it on the road. So, in order to show you the aesthetic of this car, I chose this one, which is just here for exposition. The one that I will drive today is white, but I chose this one because of the color, which is the same color as the Formula 1 car. So, this is an evolution of the DBX. So in the front we will see a huge grid, which allows more air to flow in. We will see this tiny hole down there, which is meant to bring fresh air to the front brakes. Another hole in the bottom, which brings fresh air to the rear brakes. Then we see so many spoilers all around the car, in the front and in the side and in the rear, which are very important aerodynamically speaking, because this car, we will see later, is very stable even at high speeds. On the rear, we will see this diffuser there, which has the purpose to reduce the turbulences that would otherwise make the car unstable. The rear has been redesigned in order to match the aerodynamic flows from the front. And yeah, just by taking a look at it, we can see how much effort they've put to make this car aerodynamically stable and neutral compared to the previous one. Today I will drive this car all around Sardinia, but before driving it, I will show you the insides, because they are truly amazing, really. What I love is that together with this color, which I can't really define which color it is. Is it blue? Is it gray, green, I don't know. With this color, you can find the white and you can find this fluo green yellow, which gives it a sport look. And this greenish fluo yellow green, you can find it all around the car, and I love it, really. Then you can see all the carbon, especially in this part, which is wonderful, really. Here, around the dashboard, and in the mirrors, in the doors, and the pedal shift, which I don't like that they don't follow the steering wheel. This is a choice that many sport cars do. I just don't like it. Now, look at this. One thing that I love is this. If you close the door gently, it will automatically closes. So you don't need to slam the door, it just closes automatically. Then when I switch on the car, look at the steering wheel and the seat. Look at that. The seat goes forward and the steering wheel goes down. What I love about the steering wheel, it has a lot of regulations. It can come out a lot, so you can get a very racing setup with the steering wheel super close to you and get this racing position, which is the position that me as a racing driver, I love. Okay, look at how I could get really closer with legs. Another thing that got me crazy is this. Can you see the windshield wipers? No, right? Look at this. If I turn them on, voila, there they are. And if I switch them off, they stay there. And look at this. wait for it, wait for it, wait, boom. Ha! They disappeared! So somebody in Aston Martin realized how ugly the wipers are and how ugly they look when you're not using them. So they said, okay, why don't we let them disappear when we're not using them? Boom! There it is. That's what I love. Now, of course, being it an SUV, it has 5 doors and the rear seats are super comfortable, super big, and plenty of rooms for the legs. Obviously, also the trunk is pretty big, plenty of room for all your stuff, and can be closed by just pressing that switch. Ta-da! Now, another lovely thing, which is because this is a car fun to drive, and a big part of the fun is the sound. Now, I turn on the car, pay attention to what you hear. So this was the standard start mode, but we have a special mode that we can use to start the car in a louder way. I love it! I love things like this, which are totally useless, but are just meant to be fun. And how do you get that? Like in every automatic car, in order to switch the car on, you need to push the brake. And when you push the brake, the light turns red. This means that you can start the car normally. But if you pull the downshift lever, the light starts to blink. That means that you can turn the car in the loud mode. Ha! I love it! So for the Sport Plus mode, unfortunately I cannot drive it on track, but I have this road which is close to traffic and which is also dry now, luckily, where I can try to push it. So what is the best way to start in Sport Plus if not with a launch control? Wow, man, that's insane. All the 707 horsepower, boom, slammed into the back. Wow, I forgot that I am on an SUV. It's so hard, the braking. Man, I could have braked like 20 meters later. Wow. I mean, when you push the magic button and you switch to Sport Plus, it transforms into a completely different car. You go from a very powerful SUV to a sport car. I mean, the only thing that reminds you that you're an SUV is the weight, obviously, and you feel the weight in the corners and especially in the weight transfers when braking. But apart from that, the character of the car, it's a super sport car. And not only about the acceleration, but especially about the braking. It's amazing how hard this car can brake. Wow. So we spent the whole morning driving around wonderful, amazing roads around the Sardinian hills. But now I'm on the highway, ready to tell you how it feels to drive this car in daily life. Okay, so I am in the GT mode, which is the, let's say, comfort mode, which is a very soft mode. The car is not very responsive, it's super soft, it feels very gentle. I mean, it's the everyday driving mode. But the cool thing about this mode is that if you want to do an overtake or you need power, you just need to push the throttle. And then you get all of it. And that's amazing. The thing that I fell in love with this car is how you don't realize how fast you're going. Because with 707 horsepower, it's very easy to get to speeds which are too high to show you in this video. And the amazing thing is the stability. Even if you're going fast, the car feels super stable. It really feels on the ground. And even if you drive on a bump or on a hole, you don't feel like you're losing control. And that's what I expect from such an SUV. So this is great for the average user because everyone can feel safe and comfortable on this car. Another thing that I love, which is something I would expect from an SUV, is the view you have. The sitting position is very high, so you can dominate the road, and you can see everything in front, on your right and on your left. You really have a wide vision, and what I love is that you can easily see right in front of you, while, for example, in supercars, you usually sit very low on the ground, and especially when you're exiting your garage or you're doing a maneuver, you don't really see where you're going, while here, you see right in front of you. Well, if I look back from the mirror, the rear windshield is not very big, but you can see enough. And if you're doing a maneuver, you have obviously the rear cameras, which are helping you, not only in the rear, but all around you. What I love about the steering wheel is that it feels right. I mean, when you're turning at high or medium speed corners, it feels stiff enough. Not too soft, not too hard. And that's how I expect it to be. Okay, I just found out one wonderful thing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the leather seats because, you know, when you're super hot, your back starts to sweat. In the winter, they're super cold. So I found myself in a situation now where the air temperature was right, but I started to feel hot in the back and I started to sweat. I said, oh my God, why is it doing that? So I remembered about this magic switch, which is the seat ventilation. So as soon as you push it, the air starts to come out from the holes in the seat. Your back and your legs suddenly start to feel the right temperature. Wow. So this was the new Aston Martin DBX 707. It was amazing to drive it around Sardinia, and yeah, I truly loved to drive it. I loved the feeling, I loved almost everything about this car, and I loved also how comfortable it is, because we drove for like 4, 5, 6 hours straight. We just feel right, no pain. And wow, it's not easy to find a comfortable seat. Now, if I want to find some things that I don't like, which are very few, they are this display, which is not that big. I mean, I love big displays, but the thing that I don't like is that it's not touch. So probably is still the older technology, and I hope and I expect that in the future models you will find a touchscreen display. And I didn't like the ergonomics of the steering wheel, and I'm talking about this part. I mean, it's something super personal, okay? It's just me. I prefer the completely smooth steering wheel. This is an art masterpiece. This is totally done by hand, so it's really wonderful. I just don't like the way it feels when I grab it. And one thing that you may love or you may hate, it's the controls. It's the PR and D controls, okay? For drive, rear, parking, and neutral, which are not close. You need to go there with your hand, okay? Well, some other people may say, I love them to be so far from me, because, for example, if you think about other cars where you have them here, you know, when you're turning, you risk to touch them and to put in neutral, and you may get annoyed by that. So it's just something personal. Some people prefer them here, some other prefer them there. So that's it. These were the things that I didn't like, and I think they are really minor things and super personal also. Anyway, thanks Aston Martin for inviting me to try this wonderful car. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon with the next videos. Bye!